Hi, everyone. I'm Kelly O'Horo, and this is Adaptable Behavior Explained. Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in today to Adaptable Behavior Explained. I'm your host, Kelly O'Horo. I'm an EMDR therapist, and I started this show because I'm so passionate about helping people understand why people behave the way that they do, especially when you see behaviors that don't seem to make sense. Today, we're going to dive into a topic that I think would help most people, and you can kind of think about it from your perspective. You've probably been in a situation where someone has done something harmful or wrong to you that caused you a lot of hurt or betrayal or pain. And so today we're going to talk about forgiveness. And forgiveness is something that a lot of us struggle with. We think that is something that can happen over time, or we think that something that must be first earned before we can give that or before we can allow for forgiveness. But forgiveness is a decision. It takes a lot of hard work. And I think that a misnomer about forgiveness is that if you think that you have to agree with what happened or what somebody did to harm you or what was done to you, that's the only way that you can get to forgiveness. But that's not what forgiveness means. It means that we're choosing to let ourselves off the hook. We're choosing to allow for future peace, acceptance, and letting go. So, to do this, to have forgiveness for somebody, we have to let the other person who harmed us off the hook first. I remember when I was early in my counseling years, I saw this graphic, and I used to teach this to clients, where it was a picture of this fish hook. And I would show them and I would say, you staying in unforgiveness is really only harming you. And the bad part about forgiveness is in order to get yourself off the hook, you have to let the person off before you so that you can get off as well. So if you've ever struggled with letting go of past hurts, I hope that this episode will help you. And if you know somebody else that's struggling with betrayal or behavior that has happened to them that has been harmful or hurtful, then, definitely forward this along, because the truth is when we are stuck in unforgiveness, we're really like taking poison and waiting for someone else to die. We are swallowing resentment. It turns into potentially long-term anger, and there's all sorts of other negative consequences of being in unforgiveness. So let's start with the basics about this topic. Forgiveness is conscious, it's deliberate, it's a decision. And the decision is to release feelings of resentment, feelings of vengeance, feelings of, stonewalling, of keeping people at bay because of the thing that they've done to you. It might be towards one person, it could be towards a whole group that has harmed you. But regardless of whether they actually deserve your forgiveness, this is the best gift you can give yourself. And I see clients, in fact, I had someone this week that was like, I've already forgiven them. And when I start to dig in with EMDR therapy and I start to see those unravelings or peeling back the layers of our, so-called onion, what I find is people have often decided that they forgive somebody, but their body has not followed suit. So it's important to understand that forgiveness isn't about forgetting. It's not about excusing the harm that has been done to you. It's about letting go of the emotional burden. Your burden that you're carrying, it's the backpack of your luggage based on the things that someone did to you that shouldn't have happened. And it's about finding your own peace so that you can live in a more free way. Think about it like this. If you hold on to unforgiveness, it's like being stuck on that fish hook. The more you struggle, the more it hurts, the more you hold on, the more you're wounded. And forgiveness is this beautiful act of self-love that is about removing yourself from that hook. It's about freeing yourself from the pain. So we have to decide, are we stuck in unforgiveness? And this is hard work. You're going to have to look at yourself. You're going to have to decide, is this an area that I want to lean into? Because it's hard. It's a lot easier to just stay stuck, be full of resentment, be angry, lash out, project at other people, guard yourself up for fear of having someone harm you again. So you have to decide, am I going to do this? It's a decision. And like I said, it's not easy. And this doesn't happen overnight. It requires a lot of intentionality. It requires daily effort. It requires a lot of really deep soul-searching insight. And, you might be thinking about like things that have happened to you and wonder, why should I forgive this person? They hurt me. They are the one that did wrong. Why do I have to do the work? They don't deserve it. And that's true. They probably don't deserve it. But who is suffering? It's kind of like when someone cuts you off in traffic and you scream at them in your own car. And they don't hear you. They don't know that you're hurt or angry or scared. Everybody in your car does. They feel jumpy. They know that you're upset about something, but the other person that harmed you, they're not the ones that are experiencing the backlash. And that's all in your nervous system. That's all in your body. So the truth about it is forgiveness isn't for them. It's for you. It's about freeing yourself from that, like the emotional chains that keep you tied to the past, not to now. It prevents you from living your most full, meaningful life. And forgiveness doesn't mean that you condone or agree with what was done to you. It just means that you're choosing intentionally to let go of the anger that binds you, the resentment that holds you back, and realizing that as soon as you do that truly with your whole body and not just with this, with the head part of you, then you actually get off the hook too. You get to free yourself from being stuck in that pain. So now we're going to talk about this concept of letting ourselves off the hook. It requires the other person is let off the hook too, like I said. And I know it's a paradox, but it's true. When we hold on to this unforgiveness, we keep ourselves tethered to them. And why do we want to spend one more minute stuck to a person who harmed us? We remain stuck in this cycle of pain. We are the ones who can't move forward and are holding on to resentment. So by choosing to forgive, we're not saying what they did was okay. We're saying that we refuse to let their actions control our emotions, our life, our relationships, and we're unburdening ourselves from being stuck in the past. A lot of people don't realize there's a high price to pay or a cost for being stuck in unforgiveness. And I have to say, I see it a lot as a therapist. And people, they're really justified and validated in having pain points with things that have happened to them that shouldn't have happened to them. And so many traumatic things happen to people that are just not their fault. They're not their responsibility. And I think about, even just my own journey of working through forgiveness and acceptance about things that have happened to me. Anyone would validate me. It was hard being a child of divorce. It was painful learning about my father having an affair. It was, treacherous watching my mom suffer in all of the anguish of loss of her marriage, of her family, of her life that she once knew. And I could hold on to a lot of anger and a lot of resentment and a lot of blame. And to be really honest, I did. I did for a long time, as a 12-year-old child should be. Selfish. I was very all about me. Why are they doing this to me? Why can't they just get it together? And really, really angry at the choices that both of my parents made when it came to the demise of their marriage. And what I didn't realize, and I think most times kids don't realize, is that parents are just people too. They're just adults who are perfectly imperfect. And so I think about my own therapy journey and what I needed to do to get to a place of really seeing both my parents as just humans who adapted in the best way they knew how, even though those ways were not good enough and oftentimes not good enough and oftentimes harmful. They are just humans, with no roadmap on how to live. And so the cost or the consequence of not allowing for unforgiveness and your own true healing is that it really can lead to chronic stress. I had a ton of anxiety. Most clients who are stuck in unforgiveness and are still in relationships where someone harmed them or even not, but stuck in the pain of it, they'll have a lot of anxiety. Oftentimes that heightened state of arousal turns into depression. We're not meant to go at such high octane for long periods of time. And our bodies get tired. And so we fall into that state of depression where we can't think, we can't feel, we can't say no, we're not motivated. And it can affect our relationships. We are planting on others, non-trust, waiting for the other shoe to drop. And it doesn't allow for us to be 100% in when we're in unforgiveness for the pain that someone else caused us. It compromises our overall well-being. And so the choice to do the work to go into forgiveness for self, you're allowing for the prioritization of your own healing, of your own peace, allowing for yourself to move into another place of letting go. And ultimately, I think universally, energetically, it's just better. Staying stuck in unforgiveness, it serves no purpose. There's no universal energetic benefit. There's no healing. There's no lessons that are learned for the person that's harmed you. If you're stuck in unforgiveness, again, like I said, you're waiting for poison, waiting for them to die, and they're just not affected. And maybe they are, and they're dealing with their own shame, but that's not your business. Their healing journey, their ability to forgive themselves and grow through their own poor decisions, that's for them, not for you. So forgiveness is a decision and it benefits you. And it's hard work. Like I said, it doesn't mean that we agree with what was done to us. Letting ourselves off the hook requires us to let the other person off the hook first. And again, it's not because they deserve it. It's not because they're necessarily worthy of it based on our own pain. It's because it serves you. Holding on to unforgiveness has serious emotional and physical costs. So I invite you to reflect right now. What past hurts are you holding on to? What would it look like for you to go and to find peace? What would it look like to have the freedom that you deserve? I hope that this is something that can help you thinking about the decision to forgive. If you know someone, like I said, please share this episode. Please subscribe, maybe leave a review, or share with us an area that you're stuck when it comes to non-forgiveness, and we can support you together. You can also connect with me on social media through my Kelly O'Horo Instagram or my website. You can check out the link to my website in the show notes. So again, thank you so much for tuning in. I applaud you at your desire to be curious about this topic and hopefully free yourselves from the burden of unforgiveness. And so thank you again. And until we meet again, don't forget to lead with love. It'll never steer you wrong.